Alright guys, so the July movie season has officially come to a close with the release of my most anticipated movie of the year, that being The Fantastic Four First Steps. Now, ever since they announced they were going to be doing The Fantastic Four in the MCU, I've been over the moon excited, but on the other side, I've been dead nervous because, as we all know, Fantastic Four movies in the MCU haven't had the best rep and they just haven't really been very good. And, we had the original two with Chris Evans. Those ones were okay at best. And then we had the 2015 one, which was very, very, very bad. And there was also like a really old 90s one. I haven't seen that one. So I think it's safe to say that we've never gotten a great Fantastic Four film, and the MCU, it's no secret, hasn't been at its biggest high point recently. We just had Thunderbolts, which was great, and there's been some other ones mixed in there, Spider-Man No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but they are all like gimmick films, and they're all kind of their own thing. But when we're leading up to like Doctor Doom and Doomsday, we need to introduce these characters and make it work. And when I tell you I think this is an absolute MCU classic, I mean that in no lie. This film knocked it out of the park for me. This film is absolutely amazing. So with that said, let's get started off with the good of my spoiler-free Fantastic Four First Steps review. And each member of the Fantastic Four was so perfectly cast. And I know a lot of people, including myself, I will admit, were a little bit unsure of what to think of, like Pedro Pascal being in there. Pedro Pascal's in like everything now, so was he just the easy option? No, when I tell you, he was fantastic as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Let's do a fantastic count. How many times I say the word fantastic in this video? He did Reed Richards so well and offered so many different sides to the character, which I'll talk about in a minute. But he just brings that character to the table so well and just rips that character right out of the comics. He just does such a phenomenal job. I thought he was really, really, really great in this role. And it was a massive standout for me. And going into it, I kind of, from the trailers, thought Joseph Quinn and Vanessa Kirby were the best ones. And no doubt to them, they did great and they were amazing. But I was also really, really surprised by Ebon Moss-Bachrach as the Thing and Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, which is a win-win because all four members were brilliant in this role. Vanessa Kirby possibly gave the best performance because she is this, without giving away too much, she is this mother who wants to protect her child, but also she is just this fierce character who's willing to do whatever it takes to help people. I thought Vanessa Kirby portrayed that really, really well. Ebon Moss-Bachrach's The Thing possibly gets like the least amount of a character arc in this film, but is still a really, really, really strong character nonetheless, and quite literally a strong character. But he was really, really great in this role. And Joseph Quinn, fresh off of Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, he was perfect. I thought he was a perfect cast for this because he's charismatic. He's able to play that young, kind of youngish man kind of thing where he's kind of goofy and he's kind of reckless sometimes and he's just crazy and so much fun to see on screen. So Joseph Quinn honestly knocked it out of the park. All four of the members were great. Like, I genuinely have no complaints with the performances and they were cast so perfectly. So honestly, props to all of them. You were all fantastic. And each character does get like a great moment to stand out and serve a purpose in the overall story, whether that be, through some of the plans of how they're going to get out of the situation that they're in. That's kind of where Reed Richards' smartest man alive thing comes into play. And we have Vanessa Kirby with the mother, and we have Joseph Quinn, who has this little side character arc with the Silver Surfer, who I'll talk about in a minute as well. And, I did say Ebon Moss-Bachrach's The Thing was slightly underdeveloped, but really thinking about it, there really wasn't a whole lot else you could do with the character to make it work. So I don't think it was that big of an issue that he didn't have like a massive story arc, but he still has a massive part of the film, and obviously it wouldn't be the same without him. And something I was really, really excited for going into this film is the world building in general. And I think it was such a good idea to have this in its own futuristic 1960s world, aside from the MCU, because there is more stakes. And because it's not based in the MCU, it makes you question the outcome of these characters and the outcome of this world. You do not know whether they're going to win or whether they're going to lose. And I cannot remember the last time I watched an MCU film, maybe even Endgame, where I was questioning like, oh God, like, are these characters actually going to lose? And it's really, really good. And I think that is the best part of setting it in its own universe, is you question the future of these characters and the future of this world and the outcome of what is about to take place. So I thought that was phenomenal in this. And the 1960s futuristic world is just so fun. It's different. We haven't seen that really in a lot of films recently, in recent years. And it just makes you want to explore more of the world and how it plays out and how, like, the technology works. You know, it kind of reminded me of, like, the TVA from Loki. Like, it kind of reminded me of that, where it was like, they kind of use like older technology to modernize it, and you know, there's some advanced technology, but it's all like older computers and typewriters and different screens and things like that. I thought that was really, really good, and I just really enjoyed that. And just the way the world plays out in general. It's even like Herbie, I was really excited to see Herbie, and he was such a delightful, fun character who really didn't serve a whole lot in the story, but whenever he was on screen, he was just an absolute delight, and he was just a really, really fun character, offered a little bit of comedic relief, but it was also just enjoyable to be there. And, you know, he does help out every now and then when he can in the grander story and scale. So I was glad they got Herbie right. Herbie's always been one of my little favourite small Fantastic Four characters. I don't really know why. I own a Funko Pop of him. But yeah, but the big thing here, which I went into the film very, very nervous about, was how Galactus was going to be portrayed. Because if you watch the 2015 Fantastic Four film, Galactus is basically a massive cloud, as some people say, a fart cloud. I'm happy to say the genuine transformation is insane how good it went. You know, it's one thing, mouthless Deadpool, going from that to the Deadpool we have now, but it's also a massive jump going from Cloud Galactus to this massive, terrifying villain of Galactus. And I thought he was so good because he was so menacing and evil. And when I say, guys, if you can see this film in IMAX, I saw it in IMAX, it was not a disappointment. Galactus looked phenomenal. Honestly, you're like looking up in fear at him as he towers over you and literally towers through the screen. And you know, he really was able to raise the stakes and further make you question the fate of the characters and this world. And because he is so big and, you know, stomping around and he's running through streets and destroying buildings, like, I was kind of like watching it, and I was watching the trailers and just watching the film, I was like, how do you make a good final battle out of this? Like, these characters just fighting this massive thing. And, you know, it's been done before, but it's like 3 or 4 people fighting this massive giant in the middle of the street. How do you do that? And especially when you also want to utilize the characters' powers. I thought it was done really, really well. The way that they did it and the way that they managed to bring Galactus to life, make him look decent and make him look good, but also make him menacing. And Ralph Ineson did a phenomenal job in this voice role, and I'm glad they didn't really show loads of him in the trailers, because he wasn't actually in the trailers that much, but when he was on screen, he was a massive standout. I thought he got just the right amount of screen time as well, because he's not in it 24/7, but his presence is almost there the entire time, and you feel that throughout the film. There was also Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer was also a great standout. I thought Julia Gardner did a great job. Possibly a little bit underdeveloped. I kind of did expect a little bit more, but she was also a great standout and got a little character arc and got some moments to shine. Quite literally got moments to shine. So she was fantastic in this. And I just thought she was quite menacing, but also, you know, there was a slight character arc, but I do think it wasn't the main priority, so it does come across as a little bit underdeveloped in some ways, so that might be an issue for some people. And the film just also manages to capture the idea of family so strongly, which is what the previous interpretations lacked. You know, it can be emotional, it can be funny, and even have you on the edge of your seat and make you question how the film is going to conclude. And the idea of family, that this is Marvel's first family, really does have a strong effect and makes you realise how much you care about these characters, even though you've only spent one film with them, because just the banter with the cast is so good and really makes you believe that they are just a real family, and that, you know, they argue, they share their emotions, they cry, they laugh. Like, there's all those emotions, and I can't help but think, I know it is a different situation, but how the Eternals did it, and how they lacked any of that family idea. I know it was kind of a getting the band back together kind of thing, but the way that this film just introduced these characters, if you'd never heard of the Fantastic Four before and just went straight in with this film, you could instantly feel that same connection with these characters as you did with the Guardians of the Galaxy after coming out of the first 2014 film. And that is just phenomenal to me. And, you know, Matt Shakman did a James Gunn where he just brought this world to life so well with these characters and really just made it click and made it work. So this film was great. It got everything it needed to right. All the themes, all the fun, everything like that was great. And best of all, it got me excited to see more of these characters, because I want to see more of these characters and I want to see where this story goes next. Please introduce Spider-Man and things like that. The review isn't over. There are a couple of things I'm mixed to negative on. So with that said, let's get started with the mixed aspects of the review. And these things aren't necessarily good or bad things, just some things you might want to know when going into the Fantastic Four first steps. First thing everyone always asks me with these films, is there a credit scene? Yes, there is both. There's a mid and a post-credit scene. Unlike Thunderbolts, the mid-credit scene is the more important one. The end credit scene is fun. It's definitely targeted at a certain audience, and that's not someone who's seen the film. It's slightly 90s-ish audience. But it's cute, it's fun, like the end credit scene really doesn't serve any purpose. It's not even a gag, it's just a cute like little nod. It's like, oh, okay, I remember that. That was pretty cute and that was pretty fun. But really, I've not really been seeing anyone talk about it online. And then there is the mid-credit scene, which is the important one. It's the one you want to stick around for. It was good. It was a great credit scene, actually, I'm going to say. I thought the Thunderbolts credit scene was great. I thought this one was great. You know, don't just go in expecting something amazing, because it's not that. But it's something good. It's something which just gives you a little taster of what's to come. You know, it's not Harry Styles coming as Thanos' brother or any of that crap like that. It's nothing like that. But it is something which is good and enjoyable, and you know, it will get some people really, really excited. So I'm not going to say anything else on that subject. And also, the other thing that people always ask me when going into these films, what do you need to watch before the Fantastic Four first steps? Nothing. Like, genuinely, I don't think you need to watch a single thing to understand this film. Like, you don't even need to have seen like Infinity War Endgame. You don't need to have seen any of the recent ones, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, I'm sure, I think, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, you don't see, like, you don't need to see anything. Like, there's not a single thing you need to watch. You could go in, not have seen an MCU film in your entire life, and just go in with it. And that's the beauty of setting it up in its own universe. And there's no gimmick or anything with this film, so you can go in completely blind, nothing, and you might have just a great time. So with that said, let's get started with the bad of the Fantastic Four first steps. And honestly, I really have little to no issues with this film. I saw the film a couple of days ago, so I was going to review it straight away, but I thought, okay, I've not got any issues, so let me just give myself a little bit of time just to think about it. I've not got any issues. I genuinely have no issues with this film, except for a few nitpicks. There's no like big issue, you know, with any of like recent Marvel films. You know, Brave New World, for example, I said had a weak villain. This one's not got a weak villain. Thunderbolts had slightly weird pacing. This hasn't got weird pacing. There's like I review films so often. It's it's very, very rare that I don't have many issues. I've got a few nitpicks though, and it's funny though because as I'm reviewing this, Vanessa Kirby actually came out and kind of went against this. So believe what you will, but you know, there is a partly CGI baby. Vanessa Kirby claims that there wasn't CGI. Maybe there wasn't, but there was definitely some CGI elements. There's a moment where the baby moves his hand and like waves it around. Like that bit's kind of weird, and there's things like that which are clearly CGI, and the visual effects in this do look stunning. They look amazing. But there are like a handful of scenes like that hand scene or just other effects and stuff in the film that do look quite off. And it is a very CGI heavy film. You know, so it's a bit like kind of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, except not as bloated and not as much. So there is a little bit there. And I also kind of felt that Reed Richards' powers were a little bit underwhelming. I kind of was hoping for a little bit more with them. You know, the stretchy powers, they are there and they do work, but you don't see them as much as you see the Invisible Woman, the Thing, or Human Torch. Like, you don't see them as much as you do there. And I know they're hard to do. I know they're not easy. And I think when they were on, they were great. I just think they were a little bit nervous to go too far with it. You know, if you look at the Lego Marvel Superheroes game, which you're probably seeing footage of now, you know, Mr. Fantastic can transform into all sorts of things. Like, he can transform into a parachute and a teapot, all sorts of things like that. But this Mr. Fantastic, you know, stretches, and that's kind of about it. But, you know, hopefully in future installments they can improve on that. And I definitely think they will. But honestly, guys, that is about it. This movie was fantastic. I absolutely loved this film, and I wanted to give this review a little bit longer. I don't normally do reviews this long because I wanted to really go in depth and dive into what I've really enjoyed about this film. So this review is probably going to be about 20 minutes. So with that said, guys, I am going to give Fantastic Four like a 9.5 out of 10. I love this film so much. I thought this film was absolutely delightful. Like, it was delightful, it was fun, it was emotional, it was high stakes, it was fantastic. I love this film so much, and I do recommend Marvel fans, you do go see it. And genuinely, people who are just trying, if you're just someone who's trying to get into Marvel a little bit, or trying to get into the MCU a bit, go into this film, go watch it. Like, you don't need to have seen a single thing, and you can still get a lot of enjoyment out of this film. So with that said, guys, The Fantastic Four First Steps is a great, Fantastic Four film. It's definitely the best Fantastic Four film, but that's not really saying a whole lot. So take of that of what you will. I love this film. I love the characters. I love the world. Marvel's listened. It definitely feels like Marvel knows, okay, they've listened to the fans, and we know where we're going now and where we are in the next direction. I'm seeing it again this Friday, I think. I'm so excited to see it again, see how my thoughts change. I am also going to be doing a spoiler review in the coming few in a few days, or maybe the next week or so. But do let me know what game footage you'd like to see, because I'm showing you Lego Marvel Superheroes here, and I just thought they'd be a bit more nostalgic. But I might actually do Marvel Rivals next time, or I might do some more Lego Marvel Superheroes, because I do find that game really fun and just in the free roam. But all in all, this is a fantastic MCU film and a step in the right direction for the MCU. And honestly, I really can't wait to see more from this world and these characters. So this is a great film. I loved it so much, but this is where I toss it off to you guys. So please do comment, and subscribe, share to the friends and family. Let me know your thoughts on the Fantastic Four First Steps down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? We sum it in the middle. Did you think it was a truly fantastic film? And do come back in the next week or so for my spoiler review, and let me know if you do want me to do a Fantastic Four movie ranking. I can do that, but I guess you're all going to probably know the order, because my order's pretty much like everyone else. But also, I can do an MCU ranking. I'm planning on doing that soon, and that is a big project to do. But the fact that we're not going to get another MCU film for like another year, so it would be a perfect time to do it. So what a high note to end the MCU on for the year. Can't wait. for Avengers Doomsday Man. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please do comment, like, and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and let me know your thoughts on the Fantastic Four first steps down below. That is all for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, Fantastic Four fans.